Okay, just a little bit about this Mercury retrograde, November 25th, 2024 to December 25th. It's holy hell. So every single thing is you're being tested on. Every time you say something that's not true, it's coming right back at you. By not true, I mean true to yourself. Like, are you pretending to be somebody you're not? Are you someone else's version of you? Are you walking on eggshells? It's going to come back, and it's not necessarily going to feel good. It's tower moment after tower after tower. It's the tower card in tarot. It's the devil card in tarot. It's self-sabotage. It's where in my life am I, the Carolyn Miss archetypes, where am I prostituting myself? So where am I saying, okay, well, I'll give you this if you give me that? Where are you being inauthentic? Where are you lying to yourself? And it's that pulling the Band-Aid off, and it hurts like hell, really fully admitting to yourself, I don't like that. I don't prefer that. That's not what I want to do anymore. I might have enjoyed that. I might have thought I should be doing that or could be doing that with my life, but now I don't want to. I'm going to do something different. And so it's being honest with yourself. And it doesn't, whatever you've been doing, or over how long, when you stop doing something that you're doing every day, it kind of fills up your time and is your excitement and you're like there, or just kind of becomes routine and becomes habitual. When you stop and you settle back into your core frequency, it can feel like grief. It can feel like loneliness and sadness. But really, it's just you stopping the spin so you can sit back and go, well, I know who I am now in this now moment. I know what I want in this now moment. And so now I have to clean up where I've been and get things ready for where I'm going. And that's what this next 2 weeks will be about. And if you're seeing this message after that, it's just look at this message as, your shadow work as you're moving into New Earth here. We've, been doing it for years, but right now, January 20th, I think, is the shift from the Year of the Dragon. And so until then, you're still going to have the Year of the Return. So you're going to keep revisiting things from the last, 12 years and choice points from your whole life. So they say, travel plans and all kinds of things, that Mercury retrograde and Thanksgiving. Well, Mercury was barely into retrograde, and I started getting hit with choice points and portals. In other words, this person might call, this email might happen, this document might happen. Today, are we still on the 20th? Today is the 25th. No, today's the 26th. So we're like 24 hours into it, barely. And I've just been I've had things ripped out from under me. There's been some major things in my life who just went boom, 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 like just complete flip. And then you go, well, you could get upset or sad about it if it feels negative, but you could just say, and this is what I'm saying, even though you feel that hurt and you're sitting in the different emotions, you say, well, either you trust yourself or you don't. I trust myself. I know that I'm always of high integrity. I always tell the truth, and I always am the best possible version of me. And I strive to be self-aware. I strive to get rid of every trigger and trauma and be the best version of myself that I can. And I know that's my intention and my daily focus. And so if something comes into my life that appears to be negative or appears to be that it's going to do something bad in my life, like, change my income or change my housing or change my quality of life in some way, then, Spirit encourages to just look at it logically and don't put any story to it and just kind of keep moving now, because we're going to get thrown these curveballs in our physical circumstance. So, things of doctors, things of courts, things of administration, and like maybe social services or insurances, or things that are of the matrix that are going to be thrown at you to go, okay, well, how are you going to deal with this? Well, that's a choice point, and that's a portal. And the biggest thing for me is to remind myself, like Spirit keeps reminding me, I trust myself. So if this has showed up in my life, the Spirit's got a reason for bringing this into my life. There's something for me to see here. There's something for me to clean up here. There's energy that needs to be called out. There's something that needs to be made clear to raise the vibration of this energy. And if something is removed from my life, you go, okay, well, if one door closes, one door opens. So if something's removed from my life, that's just going to make room for something even better, because I trust myself and I trust that good things are coming. So if one way that I'm living my life or surviving or thriving or whatever is stopped or changed, and all of a sudden, you're like got this long hallway and then you got a brick wall, you're like, okay, well, that doorway's not open anymore. You don't just keep banging on the brick wall until your knuckles are bloody. You just turn and go another way. Staying in the moment, the radical now, is key to creating the reality you want. And as we move into this new earth even stronger, where we're going to have a lot more timelines, and we're not going to have corruption. We're not going to have corrupt courts, corrupt judges, corrupt health officials, corrupt doctors. We're not going to have any of that. But it still lives in us. And so we're cleaning that up so that we can move into that within the next few months. And, focusing on people that are not like you and people that you don't like, it's not a thing anymore. As many people that watch me know that I expose corruption for about 25 years now. Well, I was really into it. It was a calling. I had a big free speech case. I felt like that was part of my light worker mission. I had visions. It was real clear. It's what I wanted. It was, whatever. Changed my life, took away everything I thought to be my life. So you can look at it as positive or not. But, I trust myself. It did something amazing. But also, it was my life's mission and purpose. In 2016, when the Mandela effect was real clear to me, really clear. My bestie said, hey, you ever heard of the Mandela effect? I'm like, I don't know. And then when I was looking up stuff on it, I was like, oh my God, right? I hadn't, a sun gazer, I look right at the sun. I take pictures galore. I hadn't even noticed that the sun was no longer yellow and it was white. I was stunned. The heart anatomy, stunning. The location in the universe, stunning. The Lion and the Lamb scripture, stunning. I began to follow every Bible scripture change, and then I just kind of let that all go. And then the anatomy changes and the timeline shifts. It was so rapid, I was like, that's it. When I won my free speech case, so in September of 2024, when it was settled, did I say 2024? 2014 was when it was officially dropped. I won my Ninth Circuit appeal in January 2014, but then I dismissed the lower court when I just let it go. And I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh, right. Okay, so then, right, I had a church downtown, Port Townsend, and I was living in hotels. And then I went to San Juan Island. I lived there for about 6 months, and that's when I learned about the Mandela effect. And I just completely let go of anti-corruption blogging, because I was like, if you see that movie Tomorrowland? Spoiler alert here a little bit, but about projecting reality. So I'm not calling out injustice. I'm creating injustice by believing in injustice. And I had already let go. I don't know what that was. But I just let go. I'm like, there's no sense in any of it. There's no sense in me reporting on corruption anymore, or standing up for victims anymore. And that what I spend my time on and what I focus on, I'm creating that reality. And if I believe in injustice, there's injustice. And so I stopped and I focused on me being the best version of me I could. And was this video about Mercury retrograde? I don't remember how we started, but we went somewhere else. And so working on every trigger and every trauma. And when I'd have an emotion, say, well, what must I believe for that? Letting things come up and clear and come up and clear. Clearing my ancestral line, clearing triggers and traumas in every dimension. Because I realized that I was projecting the reality that I was living in. I was so profound to me that I had literally shifted physical realities. I was stunned. I thought, think positive, you move to a different reality. Think positive, create positive. I thought it was figurative. Even all the new age stuff, since I was 16 in the harmonic convergence, I've been studying new age information, channeled spiritual information of everywhere. I've studied in the Yucatan, I've studied in Ireland, I've studied in England, I've studied just all over, Key West, just spiritual, because it's always been something fascinating to me because I've always seen things my whole life. So, but I hadn't thought that I could shift to another reality, or that I could be sitting in a world where someone right next to me was experiencing a different reality. Now, in growing up, I'm just talking about whatever's coming to mind here. My mother was quite chaotic, and she was very emotional and leaned on me a lot. And I grew up an only child. Turned out later I had a brother and sister from my biological father, but that's a story for another day. So she leaned on me a lot emotionally. She was, bipolar and suicidal a lot, and just, anywho. So she'd lose things all the time. So, she'd lose her watch, she'd lose things. We used to call this one desk we had like the haunted desk. It was like a roll top desk. And we call it haunted because things would just be missing off there, but then they would appear. And my mom was like, nasty. And so if I wanted to go swimming or something, I had to find her watch and find her this and find her that before we could go, right? So it was just such a drama all the time. And I realized years later that these things, that it wasn't like a magic desk, right? It wasn't a haunted desk. The watch would be there the night before, and then it wouldn't be there. And then that evening or whatever, it'd be there. And it seemed like now that her chaos did it. After I knew the Mandela effect, so I think I went to Montana for the last and final time. That was later in 2016. Yeah, that was the fall of 2016. And I was with a friend of mine who's since passed away. Another weird story, but she had a purse. She'd made us some breakfast, so she's putting the breakfast on the table there, and she has this big old purse, and she's looking for a checkbook. And she's in it, she can't find her checkbook. She dumps everything out, and there it is, and it's right there in front of both of us, and I'm like, and that's not, the checkbook's not there. She puts everything back in, and I'm like, look, let's just eat. Let's just eat. And just kind of talked her down. She just could calm down, because she was very frantic and very chaotic. And so we just sat there, the purse, this giant purse right there next to us. And then we ate, and then as soon as we got done eating, she opened the purse, and there it was right on top. And it wasn't there, right? So it was like the more chaotic she was fragmenting in and out of timelines. I also realized that my mom did that all the time. And I've talked to others that their parents did that too. So, and if you follow Cynthia Sue Larson on her reality shift stuff, it's been like decades for her. Like, it's always been. We've always shifted realities, but it was always subtle. It was, things like I kind of just mentioned. And now, to have shifted so dramatically, like for some people, it was big, the Bernstein Bears. I have a photographic memory, and so that kind of was big to me too, but I don't have kids. I didn't read the books. I had the books, but but I did remember the shift. So you go, okay, well, it's like the Field of Dreams. My church motto and I've been doing some aspect of my church since for about 25 years now. And my motto was always, if you build it, they will come. And that was like in the Field of Dreams movie with Kevin Costner. And turned out then that never existed. It's always been, if you build it, he will come. Mirror, mirror on the wall never existed in this reality. It's magic mirror. There's a whole bunch of movie sayings. There's a whole bunch of songs that changed. Ed McMahon, in our day, it was a staple for, Publishers Clearinghouse. So I knew for sure that was in my reality. The Yellow Sun, anatomy changes. And so it was so profound to me that I did an about face and completely stopped, like I said, the anti-corruption stuff, and just dove into me. And in that, after that was no more hotels. I remember sitting in my little red truck, which I barely fit in the front seat, and then I was sitting there, and I'm looking at these beautiful trees, and I just laid over and I went to sleep. And then years passed. Not while I was asleep, but the window would like drip water on me, and there's a gear shifter, and I didn't have much place to sleep, and I it just kind of sunk in, and it was quite traumatic and profound. And I did tons of healing sessions, and survival, and trying not to freeze to death, and being rousted by the police, and rousted by people with the yard signs of, we accept and we love everybody. Well, we don't love you. And just this whole other reality that I never thought I would experience. And that was part of that, going, okay, well, I let go of everything. Okay. So there's no more striving to be this certain job. There's no more trying to prove corruption. There's nothing to do with the modern world in any way whatsoever, except for my vehicle getting from wherever I sleep to wherever I eat, finding bathrooms, and being at the beach and just staring at the horizon and watching people ebb and flow. And years passed. Stunning. And I did energy healing and therapy kind of stuff with my shamanic healer, spiritual counselor, mental health counselor, bestie in Ireland, every day. And I layer after layer after layer. And I slipped out of my happy-go-lucky, kind of almost phony self, like striving for, my real estate career, and my ranch, and my bakery, and my money, and my looking for someone to date, and to just numb. All of it stripped away. Down, no money, no friends, no interest in any of it in any way, just going deeper and deeper into every layer of me. And then, and I wasn't going to talk about it. Nobody really even knew I was homeless. When I'd go to the coffee shops or whatever and write, or I'd stop and help people downtown. And then at one point I did way into it. I got a job at a restaurant in town, which is weird, getting ready in a bathroom, and it was fucking hard, man. But anyway, I wasn't going to talk about it until I was out of it. But then, I think it was 2021, so I don't know, there was some sort of time. I was kind of out of it because I had another church building. I had a church out here in Hadlock on the highway. But there was an incident where there was hundreds of people attacking a homeless man over a dog. And I knew the truth about him and his dog because he lived in a car next to me. And I'd seen him on and off for years and how he was with his dog. So I stuck up for him. And then, oh my gosh, so then the police, the prosecutors, the city officials, the Mayor Faber, all these people, they all attacked me because I stuck up for this homeless guy. And I was like, whoa. All I did was bear witness to the truth about something, some guy I didn't know. So I was like, okay, well. And I dusted off my anti-corruption skills, and I fought for him, and I exposed them all, and I did, as I've said many times to many people, the blog is Michael Almain, casechronology.blogspot.com. And because it was so bizarre to me, there's no way. It's like, what? A prosecutor and the cops and nonprofits and all these people They set up this homeless man to take his dog. Pfft, no way. It's highly plausible. It's ridiculous. Y'all, you're lunatic if you think that. There's just no way that's true. And I psychically knew that it was true. And the man experiencing it knew it was true, but he was being led to believe he was crazy. Every time he would fight back, like to tell his side of the story online, he would be slammed and ridiculed because they really thought that he was abusing his dog. And they would remove his side of the story. The poor Townsend lynch mob. Stunning. Stunning. And I couldn't understand it because it wasn't about money. It was about emotion. It was about their own personal trauma because they believed that this man had done something to his dog that he didn't do. Came out in court, the dog had a chronic skin condition. The prosecutor Kennedy, everybody put their career on the line. Everybody stood up to take this one homeless man out, and they nearly did because they felt like he was abusing his dog, and he wasn't abusing his dog. They did take his dog, and they never gave it back. So when they tell you they care about mental health and homeless, they don't. So I couldn't see that and not stand up for this man. And it was fascinating. So I did a video about who he really is. I'm like, I don't know his personal life, but I know how he is with his dog, and I saw it. And I did a video that kind of went locally viral, and also talked about a woman who had died in a tent, froze to death, and had a dog. And there was so many synchronicities. And then I met Michael. I mean, I'd seen him, every day, but I never said hello. I mean, I was a woman alone in a car. I didn't say hello to a man. I didn't, my own safety or whatever. But when I met him, it was so clear. He was so close to God. He talked about Pleiadian stuff. He talked about, stuff when he came to Earth. We aligned spiritually, and his connection to Jesus and to God and to the energy and the goddess and was so profound and shocking to me. And I'm proud to have been part of saving that man's life. And the corruption be damned. The attorneys involved were pretty shocked because they didn't. There was a court order to give the man's dog back, and they wouldn't. The prosecutors wouldn't. The city attorney wouldn't. And then they charged the man. Okay, give him criminal charges, and they charged him money and for keeping the dog illegally. And the attorney involved was this really nice local man, and he was helping him. And then when the judge ruled against him, so give him like $70,000 in attorneys, and then ruled against him saying that he wasn't indigent, even though they give him free attorneys. It was all just lies, and it wasn't for money. It wasn't for politics. They nearly killed a man because of their own emotions, because they liked the local nonprofit more than human decency and the law and constitutional rights and human rights and dignity. And so after it was all over, the court case, I testified for him. Nothing worked. They're just fucking rabid. Just injustice. Oh my gosh. They don't care about who they kill or who kills themselves. Take your emotional support dog, your family. They don't care. They're completely corrupt. Anyway, so when it was all over, the attorney was a very, very good man and was part of saving this man's life just by seeing him and believing in him. Well, the attorney gave this much public records to the man involved to give to me. So I was like, okay. So I started the anti-corruption stuff, right? I started exposing it, and I just put it all out there. And then time passed, and then I asked Spirit for a sign. I'm like, so should I do more on this? Is this the thing? And then next thing I know, the man involved showed up. He got some unemployment during COVID. And he spent like $800 and bought all of the all the trial videos. And so I got the transcripts, I got the trial video, I got everything. So I painted a picture of the entire story and what they did. And it's all out there for everyone to see how evil and how corrupt these guys are. And for what? And so I just showed it. And it never really went anywhere, but the man got a will to live, and he got into housing. He never got his dog back, but you know what? He got to raise his daughter, and he got to live, and now he's so happy. He's such a good man, and I am so proud that I come out of the anti-corruption closet and stood up for that man. Even though I didn't help him, I gave him a will to live. And that matters to me. Apparently it's cry day or something. Anywho, so then I'm like, okay, well, I'm done with that. Like, I'm going back to my spiritual writings and my poetry and my photos and, just healing in myself. And I got into housing and I was like, oh, good. Okay, I got heat, I got warmth, I can live indoors now. Then it was Lionsgate in 2022. I don't even know why. I guess Mercury Retrograde's bringing all this stuff up. But which would have been 8/8/2022. And I was really depressed. I was really, really down. And I decided to do TikToks to create money. And I got like I got my 1,000 subscribers or whatever. And then I started doing dance videos. And then I'd go to events in town. Every Saturday I go to town and I'd film and I'd do a bunch of TikToks. All that ended up getting shut down by corruption later. But just going to events and stuff. And then I remember asking Spirit, I said, I need something to focus on. I can't get out of this depression and kind of need a project. Kind of need, not like a quilt or knitting or something, but, like something. And then I'm on Twitter. And no, first of all, I think, I was seeing some of it on Twitter, and then in the local newspaper, this woman had got banned from the local YMCA. And I couldn't tell from the newspaper who was who. I didn't know which woman was what. I didn't know what was going on. And I didn't care. I was like, well, that's weird. Have at it. You guys are all like doing your own thing. I'd been to the YMCA. I'd never felt comfortable there. Ooh, we're all on the same side of the political spectrum. And I'm like, whatever. I read the first couple articles and video, and that I have that all out there on Rumble. But then on Twitter, I saw this man named David Faber. And he was sexualizing and slamming and misogynistically to this woman named Amy. And Amy was standing up for the YMCA. Well, because Faber was just disgusting, I stood up for this Amy person. And I recognized the name David Faber. So, first of all, he started his attorney thing about 2012. And I have a photographic memory. And so in my photographic memory, which is not, always 100%, but right there next to Windermere, where that sushi place is where his office was. I remember his name on the door. And when I was trying to save the homeless man's life, and I'm trying to post on the site, so I'm like, why do you guys keep deleting his story? This man needs help. These people are doing this to him. Why are you listening? And they just silence me and hate me and da-da-da. And this man named David Faber come in and sexualized my comment. And I am bawling, and I am fighting for this man's life, and I know how close he is to death, and how many times that I talked him down. And it was so horrifying and creepy to me that this local attorney would be such a scumbag that I remembered his name. So when I saw him on Twitter being horrible to that woman, I started defending her. So she messaged me and asked me if I would speak at a press conference and a city council meeting August 15th, 2022. I'm not going to go too much into this. Those who know the story. But that night, there was 11 of us speakers, and we were mobbed by 400 people. And city officials incited them. One of the counselors, nonprofits, were there coordinating our assault. Local businesses, just all kinds of people, and threatening to kill us, pinning us to bricks, knocking women down, just kind of being all very violent with us. And they saw us as the other, right? They called us TERFs, they called us bigots and fascists and Nazis, and screamed at us. And to them, that was okay because we weren't human. We don't, they didn't know my belief about any of it. They didn't ask. They just screamed at us and bullied us and assaulted us. And the Port Townsend police watched. And we were blocked out of the city council meeting. And I was like, alrighty then. So I dusted off the anti-corruption blogging skills and I said, you know what? I want to know why this happened. I want to know how my brothers and sisters in the Pride community became rabid, evil, mean, cruel, assaulting demons after an 8-year-old woman. I don't care what an 8-year-old woman says. I'd never heard her. I didn't like what she was saying. No cranky old lady. I'd just go do something else. If I didn't like some event downtown and what people were talking about, and there's been many of them, I just leave. I don't invite hundreds of my friends to go after people because of my own trauma, my own triggers, and yell at them and scream at them and bully them and assault them. And then that wouldn't be allowed at any permitted event in Port Townsend. And then the police watching. Why did the police watch? Who was in charge of the police? What was the incident action plan? Why was there, hundreds of Antifa there, and and they had guns and batons and the threat? Why did all this happen, and what's going on behind the scenes? And I wanted to know. So a few days after, I started ordering public records, and I ordered all of the footage and all the officer cam footage. And now, well, say next August, it'll be 3 years. And I, have painted the whole picture. I mean, there's quite a few public records missing. That's a story for another day. But it was horrifying. That a city council would incite a violent mob to attack a community member that had lived here 30 years because of something they believed, instead of just being like, she believes it, whatever. Like, why did they say this version? These people in our community are horrific, and these aren't. And they were all so liberals. I don't believe in left and right and liberals and the whole whatever, but they're all called liberals, and they were all should have been on the same side. They were turning on each other. And it was horrific. And the police watching, and felony assaults, and women that have lifetime of injuries, and men kicked in the privates of lifetime injuries. No prosecutions. The prosecutors, the mayor's law firm represented the assailant. I mean, it was like something out of the dark ages of witch burning, of, and people screaming Nazi and bigot in my ear and putting pride flags over my face and yelling at me, thanks for supporting the lesbian gay community. I'm a lesbian. Half the speakers were lesbians. Thank you for supporting. Like, I was stunned to see that much hatred. Where did that come from? And I wanted to know. And so that's what I did for the next 2 years nonstop, every day, just creating videos and content and exposing them and getting more public records and, filing federal hate crimes and civil rights stuff. And And we got some civil rights attorneys for Julie, the 80-year-old, and just really exposing what they did that they still think is great and groovy because we deserved it, because we're not like them. We don't believe the same as them. We're far right, Nazi, bigot, fascist. They don't know nothing. They didn't know nothing about me. They still call me all that, right? I don't think people on the far right would consider me far right. Whatever. They like to name call, and they like to bully, and they like to assault, and they do it from the position of the government. And that's going to be over soon, because they're not going to be funded anymore. And my next video is going to be about these new cities. But they're not going to have federal funding. They're not going to be able to strip your rights. They're not going to have jurisdiction over you. It's over. We've made it to New Earth. And so I dusted off my anti-corruption stuff for those two things, for these two human beings, to expose, to raise the vibration of Mother Earth and her people, to awaken those who want to be awakened, to show those who wanted to see the truth. And it's done. You can call the election the choice point, and it kind of is then, and there's cleanup now. So I'm done with exposing them. I have some cleanup work, so you'll see some memes and some videos and things. There are federal hate crimes that and other indictments that will hopefully happen. They've been under investigation for a couple of years, but that's not outside of my hands now. That's the Department of Justice. There's Julie, the woman who was banned from the YMCA, has got a lawsuit against the city and the YMCA. That's, in federal court. There will be a class action lawsuit against all of the businesses, nonprofits, city officials, police, city manager, mayor, councilors, whatever involved. The plaintiffs being all of the people at the event. And that will soon also be out of my hands because, I'm not an attorney. I'm just getting all of the documents ready. And then I will, I'll be done with that. It's not where I want my life to be anymore. I don't want to focus on that reality. They've lost their power. They don't know yet. They think they have the power. And they think because they're a blue state that the governor's going to protect them in their corruption. But they're not realizing that there's no such thing as blue and red. The Republicans of the Republican, traditional Republicans, they don't exist anymore. Okay, the mega tribe is a big tent, a tribe of light. And there's, witches and gays and lesbians and evangelistic Christians and pagans and, every race and every color and every size and every shape and every religion and every belief. That's mega, and it's a big tent. I don't affiliate with a party, and Republicans, because it had to kind of be one, they kind of went one way. But Trump was a Democrat. It's spiritual. It's about the Galactic Council of Light. It's about raising the vibration of Mother Earth and her people. Traditional conservatives wouldn't I'm a lesbian, I'm a witch, I'm pagan, I channel, I'm everything unbiblical. Like I'm a sorcerer or a witch and so it's not the Republicans that won the election. It's the people, the power back to the people. And no longer will corrupt governments be able to survive or thrive, blue and red. The most evil man alive, as far as 3D goes, regular things, is Dick Cheney, Republican, just evil. I mean, his killing sprees, his hooked up with Bush and all that evil. And he joined Kamala. That's all you need to know there. So the far right and the far left, they joined, right? And the mega tribe is the people. And so many people crying about rights they're going to lose and blah, blah, blah. It's just not true. You got to do your shadow work. You got to face your truth. You got to create your own reality, whatever you believe, your timeline. But as for me, like I said, there's some things I'm doing to clean up. And there's people that still attacking me. but I don't care. God's got me. It hurts. What hurts is not the attack of the superficial, but letting go of different belief systems and switching gears. And I'm no longer, I don't care about Port Townsend City Council. I don't care about the county commissioners. I don't care about the prosecutors. I don't care about the judges. I don't care about any of the corruption. There's some more going to be exposed on it because, you know, some more is coming at me. So there's going to be cleanup. But you guys don't have any power anymore. You're going to still do some dirty deeds, but it's no longer going to be, we're going back to constitutional law, where the law matters and constitutional rights and equal rights, not just some opinion of some attorney that was voted in as a judge that can ruin your life. You know, AI is going to be involved in, like, okay, so here's the set of facts. Here's the set of evidence. Was there a crime or not? Not, hey, I like you, I don't like you. So there was a crime, there wasn't a crime. All this prejudice, all this politics, all this corruption is going to be gone. It's just going to be gone, and it's pretty much there. They just don't know it yet. So there's no more work to do. There's no one left to save. There's no one left to awakening. Now it's about you walking your talk. They're stuck in their groove, and they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to implode. They're going to do whatever they're going to do, and I don't care. They're not going to have the funding to keep doing what they've been doing. I'm just repeating myself now, but I'm not going to be exposing corruption much longer. I have a lot of public records still pending, and am involved in legal cases and lawsuits against the city for those records. And when I get those records, I will be publishing those records. But in general, you know, we the people can do whatever they want. If that's what you want, if you want a mayor that's talks the way Faber does and how sick and horrible and demonic he is, that's up to you. He's nothing to do with me. My spiritual calling to bring light to Port Townsend, I did. And I don't care if you believe me or not. That was my spiritual guidance. And that's done now. I'm bored with it, which is my sign that it's over. And I will be focusing on my, you know, photos and my writing and my channeling and my sermons. And, you know, walking in the woods and talking to the critters and just being me. And y'all can do whatever you want. So we're not quite there yet, but we're almost there. So this video was about Mercury retrograde, and apparently it's Mercury retrograding me. So the next video will be about these cities, so about these new cities. All right, so I guess I'll end it there. I don't even know if I wrapped up anything I said, but that's why I call my YouTube channel, which I'll be posting again on next week. I've got a little bit of trouble over there because, you know, I posted some photos that YouTube didn't like. You know, they'll have these videos of women topless protesting in Paris. They'll have, call it soft porn or whatever, but pornish type things. But if I have a picture of two women kissing in some sort of erotica without showing, you know, anything really, then that's a strike against me. I also did a channeling the other day, just 2 minutes about something about Trump and something about New Earth. And they called it medical misinformation, so I got a strike against that. So I'm in trouble over there, YouTube. They've deleted so many of my channels. That's why, like, I mean, thousands and millions of videos have been deleted over decades. I don't even care anymore. I just keep whatever. I put videos out for myself. I enjoy the energy. I am a Leo moon and a Leo rising, and I love the sound of my own voice. And I'm madly in love with myself. And, you know, so if anyone else don't watch my videos, I really don't care. So, I forgot. Oh, what I was saying is that's why I call my stuff Reverend Crystal Cox Ramble, because I ramble. And sometimes sentences are like air balls and they don't even finish. But, you know, if you're watching, that's on you. That's really kind of on you. It's not really a prerequisite for you to watch my videos. All right. Stay tuned for some more Reverend Crystal Cox Ramble. Bye for now. I love you.